yeah. Who is the immigrant? If we are living in the same land, sharing the same sun. Who is the immigrant?
And now to introduce to you on Impact Talks, we welcome Canadian actress and award-winning international supermodel Nini Amerlise. She's a hardworking and self-motivated professional who is extremely passionate about her craft as a model. This unique beauty, who is of Afro-Latin, Jamaican-Chinese descent, has been blessed with the opportunity to work in over 60 fashion shows, participate in multiple print shoots, campaigns, magazines, and TV work. She was awarded top model at the Miss International City Pageant in 2015, Rising Star Canadian Model of the Year 2016. In 2017, Nini also competed and won Supermodel Canada. Welcome to Impact, Miss Supermodel Nini Amerlise.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. So let's just get to it. You have an interesting heritage. Tell us about the Chinese, Jamaican, Afro-Latin. You are the world. Tell us. And Ghanaian, am I
yes,
bad?
yes. On my dad's side, so his parents, that's where the Ghanaian roots come from the Ashanti tribe.
Okay.
My mom, she is of Chinese and Cuban, but she was born in Jamaica.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And then she moved to Canada and had me and my other siblings as well.
Okay. So what brought you to the United States?
I wanted change. I was tired of the stagnation in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like I plateaued. Basically, I went through the whole process of, going on this journey as a model. I had explored all the fashion shows. I had explored so many fashion shoots. I was even done like judging and on like certain...
Done so much.
Yeah.
And you just wanted a new experience?
Yeah, I wanted to tap into something else.
But let me ask you this, though. The modeling industry is very challenging, and especially for, I imagine, Black girls. Mm-hmm. How did you get started in it?
Well, initially, I didn't want to be a model. I wanted to be a singer. I was going through this transition, trying to figure out my whole identity. I was confused about just like me even looking in my own reflection in the mirror. I had a very cumbersome task. It was a very cumbersome task. I couldn't look at my own reflection without wanting to cry.
Why?
Because I was bullied growing up from the age of 4 up into the age of, 19.
Why were you bullied? Because you're brown? Or
yes.
why?
So
and where was this?
This was in elementary school in Canada.
Where? In Canada?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
So they were
because if you were born in Ghana, that would not have been the case.
I've heard this before. But they would always tell me, you're too dark, your nose is too wide, your hair's too coarse and kinky.
Yes.
And they were saying I was too skinny. So I actually even battled with suicide and anorexia.
Oh my gosh.
And I wanted to be as thin as the beautiful girls that they depicted on these magazines and in the TV and the media. I straightened my hair all the time, and my hair would break off because the heat was too intense that it would just, crumble off at the end, I just didn't know how to take care of myself. And looking at my own reflection, it was the hardest thing. As I went into the fashion industry in 2014, 2015, that's when I felt that God was using a transition for me.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to identify with myself. Correct. I grew up as an atheist, and then I felt that the industry is what kind of, I asked questions. I was like, who am I? That's when I began to understand that I'm not just here for myself. I realized that there was a bigger purpose beyond myself.
Yes.
And that's when I started to journey on and identify with the fact that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And initially, I didn't understand what that meant. It's a scripture from the Bible. And as I journeyed on, I realized that meant that I was a creation, an intended thought.
Yes.
A thought process that embodied love,
Hey, if this is your first time visiting TIMTV channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we post new content.
And when I realized that love from God, that love was now translated to myself, and I was able to look at my own reflection, feeling peace for the first time. I used to battle with this suicide, this depression, this fear of wanting to the fear
and all this as a result of the bullying that you experienced in your childhood. So the fashion, the industry liberated you from that?
Yes, it definitely
That's interesting because for most people it's the reverse.
Yes. But
so who's to say?
You just never know.
You just never know.
You never know.
That is really something. So what would you tell a young black child who has experienced similar situations like you did growing up?
I would say, understand that you've been made for a purpose.
Yeah.
Understand that you're beautiful. You are of a royal priesthood. I call my sisters and brothers kings and queens.
Yes.
I want them to feel gorgeous and confident, bold. We're unique. We're peculiar.
Yeah.
We're intended with a thought process. That understanding makes you feel like you should be walking majestically, bold and gracefully, not hiding in timidity, but showing the world that you have something to offer and something to say and not be afraid to say it at the same time. So I want them to feel that they are queens.
That's just awesome.
Walk with purpose and rise to your destiny.
Walk with purpose and rise to your destiny. That's just such a powerful message. Tell me about some of the things that you've done and what you're working on.
Well, I've done a lot in the media, whether it's like, spokesperson for like TV shows, and I just wrapped up a TV show called Stitched.
Okay.
I was one of the models for that. We all had to wear beautiful gowns and transition to be this gorgeous, gorgeous, majestic individual in the end. And actually my contestant, he won the show, and I was super ecstatic for him. But right now I'm working on this project where I want to do a non-for-profit.
Okay.
I registered it, and I'm excited to put the ground runnings.
Okay.
So it's basically in regards to reaching out to the millennials, reaching out to people who have been disadvantaged, people who have battled with suicide, people who have been raped, because I also was raped. I was a rape victim, but not a victim. I am a person that risen above the challenges to use that to push me forward, to now inspire others to overcome their personal scenarios. I want to build this non-for-profit where, young people can come in and holistically be developed and grow into the being that they should become. A lot of people don't know who they are.
That's
so
true.
I want them to go through a series of processes, whether it's, self-development classes, put them through a series of where they can look at their own reflection and talk about things that they may not like, and then talk about the things that they want to see, and then actually grow into that being and see that they are wonderful and beautifully created.
Your messages are so powerful. So just tell us, what would you tell someone who has gone through so much adversity? Because if someone was sitting right next to you now and had experienced some of what you experienced, they would tell me a different story. But you are so positive. What message do you want to impart to not just immigrants, but anyone out there who is contemplating, just taking their lives? Because that's very important. You've been through the Me Too movement would be you. The bullying would be you. The racism would be you. I mean, all of these things, but they are not you. So what message would you tell someone who's experiencing something like that?
Well, first and foremost, I want them to reflect in that moment. Is it worth it to stay in that darkness? Is it worth it to listen to what the lies of what society may say, your friends may say, the pressures of your peers, even if it's close family members that may be, pressuring you? Are you going to listen to that, or do you have enough courage to step outside of your comfort zone?
Courage.
Do you have enough focus to know that there is something on the other side of that road?
Absolutely.
Do you have enough endurance to pass the tests and the trials and the hardships to get to that place? When you can identify that you can, that yes is enough. And I feel like that's when God meets you the rest of the way to push you forward.
Absolutely. That's just a powerful message, and we thank you so much. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Nini, I see great things for you, but where do you see yourself?
I see myself, again, I want to mentor the youth. I want to mentor the millennials. I want to empower, women. I want to empower both men and women. I want them to feel confident in themselves. I lacked confidence for years, but it wasn't until recently that I was able to tap into that. So I want to be able to maybe just spark that little fire so that they can push forward on their journey. I just want to be the person that ignites or helps and pushes them along. I see non-for-profits. I see, development classes where I can train people with fashion, how to use fashion to gain confidence. I see just so much opportunities, but I don't know the totality of it, but I know it's in the works.
It is in the works, and thank you so much. Your message of courage, endurance, hopefully is going to impact someone. You are an impactful immigrant, and we thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And this is Impact on KPFK 90.7 FM. Thanks for watching today's video. For more TIMTV videos about immigrant lifestyles, click on the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload new content. We upload new content every single week. See you next time on TIMTV.